All right, let's bring in Adrienne Garvey. She teaches journalism at Southeastern University, Lakeland, Florida, where she is today. So, let's start with the media, secular all day long, correct?
I'm sorry, say it again.
The media is secular all day long, correct?
Yes,
All
a
right.
majority of it.
And there is Christian broadcasting and Trinity broadcasting. There is that. But if you are a religious person, and this guy Chris Pratt, this very famous actor, who's in Jurassic Park, he said, I'm a Christian. You get derided, you get mocked. That's what's going on, right?
Yeah, I think to some extent that's absolutely what's going on. But as Christians, we have to expect that we're going to experience that in the world because we know we're in the minority. I know here at Southeastern, that's one of the things we teach in our classrooms is how do you be a Christian in a secular industry without turning people against Jesus? It
But
is
but
possible.
but professor, if you're Jewish or Muslim, you can't be derided or mocked. You cannot be.
Ironic, isn't it?
I think it's corrupt in the sense that there's a target on the Christian world by the US media. Now, I don't really understand why. Do you have a theory about why that is?
You know, I don't. I just think it's a sad state that we're in today. I mean, I could go all religious on you, but I won't. I think it's more ignorance than it is anything else. They fear Christians. I think we're a threat to some extent. I don't quite understand why. I mean, I worked as a Christian in three secular news stations for several years and never had any problems.
No, I haven't
I
either.
guess
I have to say, I've been 45 years working in journalism. I never had a problem, and everybody knew because I wrote a book, A Bold, Fresh Piece of Humanity, that said I was a Catholic, and this is what my upbringing was. I never had a problem. However, I always understood that the national media, not so much the local media, had it out for anybody who might promote or proselytize a Christian point of view. Now, I think it might go back to separation of church and state. Maybe that's the reason. But there was certainly, if you showed, like Governor Huckabee, for example, he's a minister, that you were just dismissed. Your intellect wasn't smart enough. You're some kind of religious nut. And it disturbed me, but I think it has to do with the church and state business.
and I can understand that.
Now, your students, did they understand that the media now in America really isn't a fair media? It's not really giving them the facts without any of this innuendo and smirkiness and all that. Did they get it?
They do. I think we've had to I know personally, I've had to make a point of showing them that. They didn't live in the era when the media was trusted. So they don't know that there's a problem until I show them that there's a problem. And,
How do you do that?
I'm very big on media literacy. You have to understand from where your information is coming before you can understand whether that media is biased or unbiased. So I always teach them to go back to the source. If they're reading a story on a website, I tell them go to the about page, dig into who owns that website. What might they have some sort of agenda? If so, you have to take that into account as you're reading.
Now, how about the New York Times, Washington Post, two most powerful newspapers in the country? They're unbelievably secular. They come at it from a judgmental point of view that you, the American citizen, have no right to judge anybody. So if somebody's gay or somebody's a convicted convict or a drug addict or a drug dealer, you can't judge them. You can't judge their behavior. That's where they're coming from. Do you do the same thing with those kinds of medias that you do with the internet?
I definitely encourage them to go more broad. You don't read just one story on an issue. You want to read it from a number of different places because we all have bias in our lives. No one is truly unbiased because we're human. So I just
Okay.
encourage them to read more than one place.
All right. Final question for you. The rise in atheism in America. I'm putting it right on the doorstep of the media. Now, there is parenting involved with this. I understand that. But there's no way government can legislate parenting. There are a lot of parents, particularly younger parents, who have rejected religion. Their kids don't have any background at all in it. Yes, that's a big thing. But this relentless push of secularism by the media, I think that's the most important thing. Am I wrong?
Well, I think we have to be careful how much we allow into our lives. You are who feeds into your life. And if you're allowing the media to constantly be bombarding you with information, then that's what you're going to
But
become.
for the kids, it's everywhere. It's music, it's Hollywood. I mean, it's it's crazy. All right, Professor,
Right.
we appreciate it very much. Thank you. And
My pleasure.